Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus, and welcome to another edition of Halloween Nights. Today, we're going to be talking about a movie that came out in 2014 called Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones. Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones is from the Paranormal Activity universe. It's technically part 4 in the sequel sequences of these movies. And if you don't know what Paranormal Activity is, Paranormal Activity is a movie. It's found footage. Like in one of my other Halloween nights, so I think it was the second episode. We were talking about Blair Witch Project. But the found footage, it was kind of like big. Paranormal Activity kind of brought it back again, and I think it came out in 2007. And so this is, it's not a spinoff. It almost feels like a spinoff because the first 3 kind of took place, I guess you could say, in the suburbs, or most of them take place in the suburbs. But this one's kind of like, I guess you could say it's a spinoff because it doesn't really have to do with Katie or her family or anyone close to that, or her, like, I think one of them even had to do with, like, when Katie is the main character of the series of the Paranormal Activities, and it kind of revolves around her. And even, I think it's part 3 or part 4, it's like a flashback or a retro, like 80s videos that they find. But this one does have Kate. Let me phrase that. It does have, I guess, a cameo by Katie, but it does not have to do with her. It's not in the suburbs. It actually takes place in, I guess you could say, the barrio, the ghetto, Oxnard, California, the hood. You know, so it's different. It's a Mexican, Hispanic movie, Chicano movie, Latin movie. And I honestly love it because there's a lot of things in this movie that are really, there's a lot of funny things in this movie that happen. Not whether it's intentionally or not intentionally, but I think I saw this movie with one of my buddies, and he probably didn't get a lot of the jokes that I got because there are a lot of cultural jokes in there that are from, Hispanic, Mexican cultures that are great. But I do like this movie. It's great. It stars Jorge Diaz. He's kind of like the sidekick, comic relief, best buddy. Andrew Jacobs is the main character. He's the one that's kind of getting possessed and everything. Gabrielle Wash, and then I guess you could say a cameo by Carlos Pratt. Carlos Pratt is, like, you might know him from McFarlane USA and The Bridge. And Jorge Diaz is, like, in other episodes. He's in the Long Road Hope TV show, The 33. And Gabrielle Wash and Andrew Jacobs are in other TV shows as well. But anyways, they the movie revolves around there. They're recently high school grads, and the base of the story is that Hector, him and his buddy, they have like a camera, and they're just kind of like messing around for the summer. So Hector is like the buddy. He has the camera, and Andrew, or Jesse, I guess is the character's name. Jesse and his buddy Hector, they're like messing with the camera, and then it shows them graduating, kind of going things to the barrio ghetto, whatever. And they find out that the lady downstairs, they live like in an apartment complex, and the lady downstairs is, they call her a bruja, which is a witch. And usually, like in Mexican culture, Latin culture, whatever, when someone's like a bruja, and you always say bruja, it's not like kind of like haha funny, like, oh, she's a witch, like, oh, like now it's like more, like, oh, I'm a Wiccan, or like I'm a witch. Like, no, like if you say something and like, oh, she's a bruja, it's like, yeah, like don't mess with her, leave her alone. Like she could like put spells or voodoo or whatever on you. So that's what ends up happening. Kind of like they're messing with her, and they're finding things out and all this stuff. And so as these things are going on, there's more to the puzzle. I don't want to spoil it. I know the movie's like 10 years old, but it's still a great movie that you should check out. But it has a lot of the Paranormal Activity tropes. It's intertwined and interconnected with the other ones. A lot of the kind of like the folklore of the other Paranormal Activities is in this one, just with a different twist. Like I've said in all my other movies, and I review movies that are, you could say they're black movies or Mexican movies or white movies or whatever, just because this movie is more like a Hispanic, Chicano movie, does not mean that if you're white or black or Asian that you won't, get it, or you won't understand it, so don't watch it. No, you'll definitely enjoy it. It's entertaining. There's just certain little things, I always call them like Easter eggs, for every culture and everything, just like with Get Out or Us, or, I'm going to review Tales from the Hood. There's things that I do get, and my buddy might not get, or there's things that I'm not black, so maybe I won't get it, and someone else will. But for this one, it's like it's still good, and just there's little Easter eggs that being part of that culture, you understand. It doesn't mean you're gonna miss much of the movie. It's just, like I said, little Easter eggs that you miss them. It's not a big deal. But the movie is really entertaining. Like I said, for me, it was really entertaining. I will be honest. I felt like the movie was good. It's not great, but it's really good. And the third act, it gets a little, not to say messy or disheveled, but a little bit. You know, I felt like not to say they didn't know what they were doing, but they could have just been a lot better. And so the end of it wasn't as great as it could have been. And I think that's where I'm just kind of, I was a little disappointed that the third act, it was cool. And, you know, there's a part where like there's cholos taking on like some of the witches and stuff. And that's cool, like the cult or whatever. But it would have been cooler if there was just a little more. Like, cause everything just kind of like, I don't want to spoil it. So I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll see what I mean at the end. Everything kind of wraps up back to like its origin, which I guess is a nice connection, but it just doesn't. It just kind of felt like there could have been more, or there should have been more, or should have been a different ending, or who knows what. But overall, great movie. I would definitely count it as like more of a spin-off than a sequel. It's definitely a sequel in a sense, but it's more. I would say it's more a spin-off that's connected. But definitely a good movie. I enjoyed it. So this Halloween Nights, if you decide to catch a flick, catch Paranormal Activity, the Mark ones. I think I saw it on Peacock right now, but it's definitely streaming on one of the streaming services. So, all right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
We almost got 400 views.
Let me see.
Like, people commenting, oh, so fake. Man, wow, this looks totally real. Good job, dude. What FX program you run? All the people that leave comments are always so negative on
this is just an illusion by someone obviously seeking attention.
This is stupid.